Drawing your old artwork is one of the most satisfying things ever, especially when you can see the drastic improvement from how you used to draw to where you currently are in your art journey. I encourage every artist at least once to take an old piece of yours and redraw it and see how far you've come. And that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to be taking an old drawing that I did back in 2014 and redrawing it. This is actually a character from my manga. We're gonna see how she looks in my new updated style for digital art. Now, last time I did a redrawing of my old character, well, I kind of got humbled real quickly because the comments were all saying how the old drawing looked better than my current drawing. And yeah, that didn't feel nice. But you know what? Look, it's okay, all right? I think I improved, but y'all can always have your own opinion, even if it negatively affects my health. Yeah, it's okay. Just tell me the truth. It's all right. Make me cry. It's all right if you make me cry. Just be honest, man. I can take it. I'm a big boy now. But I'm here for round 2. I think that I can drastically improve this piece. So we're gonna do that right now. Let's get started. Now the first thing I want to do is capture the actual pose. One thing I want to do with this series is to try to replicate the actual picture as closely as possible with, of course, the improvements that I've made along the way. So I'm gonna do the same exact pose, same outfit, same hair, everything pretty much the exact same, but with the, you know, updated style that I have currently. Now, I think one thing that I did want to say, because last time I did this, there were comments saying that my old work looked better or it was more expressive. And you know what? I can agree to an extent, because the first drawing that I did, it was on paper. And then I guess when I did it digitally, it kind of lost some of that life and flow. So one thing I'm going to try and do for the future project is to, if I have a traditional piece that I want to redraw, I have to redraw it on paper as well. But if I have an old digital artwork, then I'm going to redraw it digitally, you know what I'm saying? Because even if you don't notice it, I do believe that digital art and traditional art, they have different, like, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, but they just have a different feeling. And there are some people who just prefer paper drawings than they do digital drawings, and that's perfectly fine. You know, some people actually like how how traditional art looks on paper than how they like digital art. Even though I prefer both, I like both of them equally in my opinion. I still understand that some people actually prefer one or the other. And one thing I've been doing lately is trying to capture that traditional feel in my digital work. I guess one thing I could do is just color my sketches on my tablet. I could just do that, but I do still want to be able to draw and sketch on a tablet, but still have capture that feel of paper. And that's why I've been messing around with different line art, more sketchy styles, less clean, pronounced lines. You guys have been seeing that lately, and it's still something I'm practicing with, still something I'm playing around with. Because I won't lie, a lot of my old, digital artwork, it has a very clean look to it for the most part. Very neat lines. All the lines are solid black, wall-to-wall line art, no breathing room for it. And that's one thing I'm experimenting with, is breaking up that line art, making it less wall-to-wall and more of just a flow. And I think that I did that pretty okay so far. Like I said, I'm still playing around with the style. It's not perfected yet, but once it is perfected, y'all will see the drastic improvement. Anyway, I guess talk a little bit about my OC. Her name is Penny. People call her Pie. And her last name is Pine, so it's Penny Pine. She is a nymph in my story, a nature nymph, meaning that in my story, like, nymphs, they are I guess like protectors of like each of their elements, and whichever I guess element they have of magic is the color of their skin they have. So pretty much she's a tree nymph. So tree nymphs have like a greenish skin, so their skin is kind of greenish, kind of like the trees. And her skin can also change color depending on the season, which is pretty cool. So in fall, her skin is more of like a fallish color. It becomes more skin tone, like human color. And then when it's like spring, like dead of spring, it's like this green hue. So sometimes her skin can look like a normal skin tone, like a brownish or like a pale, but when it's perfectly, like when it's springtime, it's like that green hue again. And I don't know why, I just thought it was a cool idea. It also have water nymphs who they have a bluish skin. For the most part, all their skin just stays blue. They don't really change their skin color. But they do change skin color depending on the pollution of the water. So if the water's polluted, it'll be like a darker bluish color. If it's a clean water, then they'll match that pretty much. And that's pretty much how I try to make my nymphs a little bit different and unique. They do also produce the magic of the element that they're in, so she can control nature, like she can talk to animals, she can grow plants at a rapid speed, she can control the trees for the most part. That's pretty much her ability. And most nymphs who have their their designated element, they all can pretty much manipulate that element as well. So water nymphs, they can manipulate water. I also have earth nymphs or rock nymphs, and they can manipulate rocks and stone, stuff like that. So far, that's pretty much the only ones. They all have to do with nature in a way. And yeah, that's pretty much a little bit of story about the character. Now in my volume, she doesn't really play a big role. She's kind of like a nurse assistant, but she actually has a bigger role in the second book. So you guys will probably see that once I am ready to actually start working on it. And she is also classified as a subspecies, and the subspecies are pretty much they live amongst people, but they're not humans pretty much. So if you're not a human, pretty much you're considered a subspecies or subclass of of society. And pretty much nymphs, fairies, elves, orcs, all those are considered subspecies. Anything that's not a human. But if you're a human, meaning you have either the ability to use magic, or you don't have magic at all, you're just a normie, you're considered a human, so like I said, it's all about just playing around with my world building pretty much. I'm still doing world building. But anyway, we can talk about the drawing now. Right now, I am just adding in all the shading and coloring. And I tried to capture the same pose, same outfit, and I mean, I think you guys can agree that the anatomy, way more accurate, way better in my opinion, and the shading, much more smooth. I think that's a pretty drastic improvement. But of course, you can leave your own opinions down in the comments. What do you guys think about this improvement or redraw down below? And here is the final version. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time, and peace out.